I I kind of always knew I wanted to do something with engineering, but I don't think I knew what engineering was. I did a few of the introduction courses. I did Engineering 101, and I think that that was my first introduction to computer science, and I think that's what kind of sucked me in and what has led me here today.
So, I think just for the sake of the video, we should start off with like very formal introductions and for the sake of ourselves. So, my name is Celia. I am a rising senior in industrial and operations engineering. I'm from Denver, Colorado, and I have loved being at Michigan. I feel like it's a really incredible community, both socially and academically, and I'm really excited to hear about your experiences. So, tell me about yourself.
All right, so my name is Gabriel Pascualy. I'm originally from Seattle, Washington, and I graduated in 2017. I studied computer science, and I did a minor in math, somehow. Uh,
Magically.
let's see, so after graduation, I moved to Boston, and I started working at a company called the Mitre Corporation, and I've been there for almost 3 years now.
Wow. Oh,
Yeah.
congratulations.
Yeah.
So, what does Mitre do? Like, how would you explain what the company does to somebody who's never heard of it before?
Yeah, so it's kind of a funky designation. So MITRE runs a set of FFRDCs, which are federally funded research and development centers. They were designed initially so that the government could have these technology centers that didn't fluctuate with their staffing and would be a place where we could do research and innovate and develop different technologies that were required, both for the government at the time, but also with an eye to the future. So a portion of the funds that get appropriated to these organizations, the organizations have the freedom to decide how they spend that money. So we're typically looking 5 or 10 years out, and that money goes into an internal research program.
So, what do you specifically kind of work on or contribute to in your role?
Yeah, so I'm an embedded security engineer. I guess I can't talk much about the specific research that I do, but I could talk about, I guess, one of the projects that I worked on during my internship is kind of like a super advanced antivirus software. Typically, antivirus software just runs on your machine as a normal program, maybe as like an administrator privilege level. But if there's anything below those layers that's malicious, it can hide itself. So what this software does is it kind of sits outside of your computer. Whatever malicious software could be running on your computer or at any privilege level in your computer, it can't hide.
What's your favorite part of your job? Like, what do you prefer, the teamwork? Do you prefer the individual project work? Do you prefer the networking aspect? Like, which aspect of your job do you think is your most favorite and why?
That's a good question. I think, and maybe this is because my work environment has changed a little bit in the last few months, but I definitely love being in the same place as a bunch of people that have different interests and different kind of deep technical knowledge. And I think that's something that I also loved about Michigan, where you have people that are all studying very different things, but are or will soon be at the forefront of their respective fields. We have a shuttle that goes to work, and I think that the number of times that I've just been on that shuttle and have ended up sparking some conversation about something that I'd never thought of. For example, my research, it was just talking to a friend, and an idea comes out of there, and I'm like, oh, that's an interesting idea. Maybe I'll write a proposal for it. And here I am a year later studying that half my time.
What was your favorite part about studying computer science? Like, what made you go from being interested in it to like falling in love with it and wanting to continue that through your Michigan career?
Looking back on it, it was definitely the project. So at Michigan, they do a great job of project-based learning. So whether it's individual projects where you're doing a programming assignment, or you're working with a team to develop some application or implement some functionality. And at the time I didn't know this, but the professors there do an amazing job of implementing, I guess, auto graders. So you kind of submit your, you went through this in 101, you submit your project, and then it gives you a score. And in some courses, if it's, you're designing a program to be fast, it'll kind of rank you against other students' programs. And I think that just does a incredible job of, I guess, motivating and kind of gamifying the experience.
Do you have any projects that stick out to you in your mind as like some of your favorite projects you worked on in college?
Yeah. Operating systems was my favorite course. You had to create a file system, like a file browser, but that could be used by multiple people across a bunch of different computers. So you think like SharePoint or a Google Drive. We had to implement something that was like that. And I just remember a lot of long nights, but yeah, long nights, early mornings, and being really frustrated up until we finally completed the whole thing. I'm thinking back to high school. I had never had the experience of a project where the teacher wasn't going to come in and give you the answer or help just drive you towards it. You had to work as a team and figure things out.
Do you feel like that there were specific classes or specific experiences that maybe you mentioned or haven't mentioned that really, really positively or really negatively impacted your transition to your work life and your knowledge and your ability to learn things and that kind of thing?
I'm trying to think of negative ones, but I have one of the positive ones, and this is more early college, so of course it influenced career, but I can't say it directly influenced career, and that was the undergraduate research opportunities program. Is that what the acronym is? Yeah, so coming into school, I just kind of like apply, like every freshman does, just kind of like apply and like sign up for everything. And that program positively impacted me because it right away forces you to go and get interviewed by a bunch of different professors. And number one, getting that exposure to talking to faculty. And then number two, getting a better understanding of how helpful it is to have mentors or kind of role models as things to follow. I think it's easy to go to school and look at your course guide and be like, all right, hello syllabus, hello course guide, let's do this. And I think that Michigan does a great job of kind of putting together a course guide that will lead you to the person in that field of study that you want to be. But having someone that's real is particularly helpful. But I think you do have to be careful not to get stretched too thin. Like I said, signing up for a bunch of things or feeling like you need to have one extra sticker. I think that when you're in the moment and you're seeing other students that are doing double majors and also play professional badminton or something, you can feel like you need to do something like that as well, and it's usually not the case.
So looking at kind of like zooming out, looking at yourself where you are and what you're doing in your career, are you meeting the goals that you set for yourself when you left college? Do you have more goals that you want to meet in the future, like as you progress in your professional career?
So I guess coming out of school, you have like that base foundational knowledge across a bunch of different topics. And as my manager now likes to describe it, you should work on the engineering T, which is the top of the T is the breadth, and then this is the depth. So when you go into your career, you want to gain some breadth across your domain, and then find one topic and get the depth. Like whether that means jumping on projects that particularly focus in that skill area, or pursuing some research in a specific subdomain. And that's kind of how I'm conceptualizing, I think, the first few years out of school, is basically focusing on that T. I think my goals later on are definitely to gain some leadership skills, gain the ability to kind of organize people and build bigger, better things. I'm definitely noticing now as kind of an individual contributor and someone that's doing independent research is there's only so much you can do in one day. But to be able to think about a problem abstractly and come up with a kind of an attack plan that could take 5, 10, 15 people is something that I'm working towards.
Yeah, so thank you so much for taking the time to tell us about your experiences and your life outside of Michigan and at Michigan. I know that everything you still be very, very beneficial. So I appreciate you for doing this.
Yeah, no, I appreciate getting the opportunity. So thank you.